This day is a historic day celebrating the beginning of diplomatic relations between Mongolia and India. Diplomatic relations between the two countries were established on December 24, 1955. At that time, India was the first non-socialist country to recognize Mongolia's independence and was a major supporter of our country's accession to the United Nations. This year marks the 65th anniversary of those bilateral relations.
We have agreed during the visit of President Batulga to India in September 2019, we agreed that this will be celebrated in a much bigger way. But unfortunately, due to COVID, many of the activities could not take place. But before the onset of COVID in the month of January itself, we had been able to celebrate a couple of activities, which was in June. Starting in January, we had held a concert in the Opera House. It was a joint concert of celebrating India and Mongolia's culture.
The Melody of the Ganges Indian dance competition is held every year, and recently Mongolian dancers have become very interested in this dance culture. Mongolian children and youth are also learning about Indian culture through the introduction of Hindi language classes. During a visit to Mongolia in 2011, Indian President Singh agreed to hold a joint military exercise called the Nomadic Elephant. Indian soldiers also regularly participate in Mongolia's Han Quest international military exercises.
Last year, in the month of September to October, these 14th edition of Nomadic Elephant exercises were held between India and Mongolia. It was held in a place called Baklo, which had a comfortable weather conditions, where the two armies participated in these joint exercises. 45-member contingent from Mongolia went to India. Coming to the part of Melody of River Ganga, this dance festival involves the children who are students in the age group of 6 to 15 and across Mongolia. If I recall correctly, 2019, I think close to about 16 IMEGs participated with about 300 plus children and their parents.
Generations of ambassadors have unwritten laws that are known to the people of the country. Mongolians know Mr. Bakula Rinpoche, who served as the ambassador of India from 1989 to 1999. Even though there have been many foreign ambassadors in Mongolia, teacher Bakula Rinpoche is a well-known figure here. Since 2019, MP Singh has been serving as the ambassador of India to Mongolia.
If I say the cultural and historical linkages, there are many. You know that our biggest linkage and the biggest bondage of heart is through Buddhism, which is our shared heritage. You know the Kanjurs and Tanjur, they both draw heavily from the teachings of Buddha and Indian saints. And insofar as India, Mongolia is looked upon as a land of the brave. There are lots of tales of bravery of Genghis Khan, which are recounted in the history books.
Researchers believe that Mongolian-Indian relations date back to about 3,000 years ago. Mongolian historical records of contact date back to the time of Han Dynasty, 209 BC, when the first evidence of Indian communications emerged. Later, under the influence of Buddhism, the two countries developed a common culture. Mongolia and India are intellectual neighbors who are geographically distant, but emotionally and culturally close.
In 1957, back then, India made a movie on Genghis Khan's life and times, and it's his whole story of conquering different parts. This was the second ever movie made on Genghis Khan anywhere in the world. So that was one complementarity.
Today, more than 30 million people of Mongolian ancestry live in the India's northeastern states and the Himalayan foreland basin. Mongolians migrated to India several times over the centuries. Marco Polo, a 13th century Indian traveler, observed and recorded Mongolians living on the Andaman Islands of southern India.
There are lots of similarities in dresses. Perhaps you are aware that Prime Minister Modi, just before the elections last year, had worn a dress which was gifted to him here, Mongolian Dale. And of course, his visit has brought us much together in terms of culture, in terms of economic cooperation and otherwise.
Nimdava, a Mongolian researcher specializing in India, said, "There are many people of Mongolian descent in every corner of the globe. There are people who consider themselves Mongolians. There are more than 30 million people of Mongolian descent in India. There are 8 states in northeastern India. In these states, there are Mongolians who have the same faces as us, eat the same food, and wear the same clothes as us. They say we are Mongolians. We started living in India because of centuries of history. We came to live in India 3,000, 2,000, or 1,500 years ago. Some of them are from Kiray and some of them from Urat. They are very similar to Mongolians in terms of their customs. I researched it and found 55 similar customs and included them in my book, The Hunnu Are from India."
There are many epics of India, Mahabharata, Ramayana, Kalidasa, Dhammapada, which have been translated from Indian, Sanskrit and Pali into Mongolian language. Professor Shirin Dev has done it, Professor Gandhindaram, then we have Professor Nimdava, who was also your ambassador. They have brought together many elements which bring the connectivity between India, which goes back to the Hunnu Empire.
The first memorandum of understanding signed between the two countries was signed in 1973 and focused on relation and culture. During the visit of President Achurbat to New Delhi in 1994, the content of this document was expanded to become a memorandum of friendly relations and cooperation. The memorandum was renewed in 2001, 2004, and 2009. Relations between the two countries reached a new level when President Patil visited Mongolia in 2011 and in 2015 when Prime Minister Modi promised Mongolia a $1 billion loan to build an oil refinery.
India has an Act East policy which was initiated by Prime Minister Modi, and during his visit to Mongolia in 2015, he laid the foundation of this new relationship. Our relationship has gone beyond the realm of cultural diplomacy onto the economic cooperation. The newer areas of cooperation are being explored. You know that some of the projects that we have been following up, and I need not mention the Indian oil refinery, which is being built here in Sichuan province. Despite COVID, we are moving ahead with that. And it is, of course, the single largest project of assistance at USD $1.236 billion to Mongolia. And we are looking at executing the construction of the phase 1, and even while finalizing the tenders for phase 2 and 3 in the month of March and April of 2021.
Mongolia and India have very different populations, climates, and cultures. Mongolia has a harsh Central Asian climate and nomadic culture. The population is just over 3 million. The main occupation held by Mongolian citizens is animal husbandry, but more recently, mining has become the mainstay of the country's economy. India has one of the largest populations in the world and a warm climate. In recent years, trade and economic relations between our two countries have intensified.
We are doing many more activities, and we picked up some of the initiatives during the third December meeting of the Joint Commission between the Minister of Foreign Affairs of India and Minister of Foreign Affairs of Mongolia. And we agreed to explore the newer areas of collaboration going beyond the realm of cultural cooperation. And I can share with you that we are exploring the possibility of mounting a pilot project for export of Mongolian coking coal to India.
Our country imports various medicines, raw materials, and livestock vaccines from India. In recent years, India has been interested in importing mining products from Mongolia, such as coking coal, fluorspar, copper concentrate, uranium, and iron ore, as well as wool and cashmere.
Mongolia has 3.3 million population and more than 70 million animal heads, of which about 5 to 6 million are milch cattle. So, and only about quarter of the milk is used for the commercial production. So there's some scope. And I had mentioned the IT center is going to consolidate and use the newer areas of artificial intelligence, IT, and many more sectors. So I'm pretty sure that these are the areas that will help us.
Since 1987, Mongolian specialists have been involved in long-term and short-term training with the framework of the Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation Program. In addition, a Mongolian Indian high school has been operating in Ulaanbaatar since 2003 with 5 to 10 teachers from India. In the last 10 years, Indian technical assistance has been used to establish a Sanskrit language department at the National University of Mongolia and to digitize ancient sculptures kept in the Central Library.
We know that more than 3,500 Mongolian professionals have been trained in different aspects. And these are not only the students, these are the professionals, engineers, technicians, pharmaceutical trainers, statisticians, financial technology, management experts. Last year we have enhanced the number of scholarships and we are offering in all about 300 scholarships, medium term, short term and long term. And we look forward to using this to further support and assist Mongolia in developing different capacities, be it in IT, be it in whatever sectors. And we have started new programs of e-learning. But the biggest part of this training process is training the required professionals for maintenance and operation of the Mongol refinery once it becomes operational. So for that, we have assigned 40 scholarships separately for training those personnel for Mongol refinery. And first batch has been trained already in India. Another good news I can share with you in terms of project is we have agreed to finalize setting up of India-Mongolia Friendship School, which will be a full school near Zaisan. And it is, a huge plot of land next to the American School of Ulaanbaatar. For this, we have already had discussions with the Minister of Education.
Mongolia has become not only a spiritual neighbor, but also a business partner, ally, and a very important third neighbor. Subsequently, the President of Mongolia, Vatutuluk, paid a 4-day visit to India in 2019. During that visit, it was agreed that $1.236 billion would be allocated for the construction of an oil refinery in Mongolia. This is the second largest foreign investment in Mongolia after Ayutthaya. It was also agreed that a number of previously discussed projects in the field of outsourcing, education, and aerospace would be implemented. It is a testament to the economical ties between the two countries and the expansion of our cultural ties.